Hello. So we're talking about optimism and how we help our children adopt a far more optimistic attitude to life and to this world. And if we're going to do that, then I'm afraid that we have to start by looking at ourselves and the attitude that we model to our children day in, day out. Because let's face it, children don't do what we say, they do what we do. So my first challenge to you is to ask yourself and answer quite honestly, am I a pessimistic parent? Just start by noticing, without any judgment whatsoever, how you think and feel about events and circumstances. So if your child has 80% in a test, and you're there congratulating them, saying, well done, that's fabulous, are you secretly wondering what happened to the other 20%? Or wondering what the average score was? When you look at how we will emerge from this pandemic that we're currently going through, are you filled with doom and gloom? Or are you hopeful that despite all of the challenges and all of the grief and heartache, we might emerge with some things that are better for having been through this? Just notice your attitude to all of these sorts of things, again, without any judgment whatsoever, because when we start by accepting where we are, then we can start to really change those attitudes and those beliefs. And you will be feeling these feelings or adopting these attitudes because of the way that you yourself have been brought up. So there's no shame and there's no blame in any of this. But notice as you're thinking about these thoughts, how they feel within your body. A pessimistic thought full of doom and gloom makes us feel very heavy. It brings us down, it brings us in. Whereas an optimistic thought really just lifts us. It feels expansive and so much lighter within ourselves. So just take a moment to play around with that and notice how you feel and how you view the world around you. Now, if you come to the realization that you are a pessimistic parent, please don't panic and please don't assume that that's it and everything's awful and you won't be able to teach them how to be optimistic anyway. Optimism is very much a teachable skill, and you'll be pleased to know that you don't have to be an optimist to either learn it or to teach it to your children. But it is really good to start to just notice how pessimism might serve you. So all habits and attitudes are simply habits about the way that we think. All habits serve us in some way or another, even if it doesn't look like it on the surface. Now, for everybody, those secondary benefits, if you like, will be specific and personal. So take some time to think those through. But for a number of pessimists, they will find that they look at this world in that way because it is a protective way of being, or so it feels. So we don't know how life is going to turn out. Nobody does. We only know about what's happening in this moment. And as we look into the future with uncertainty, we can feel very, very anxious. And so it's a very natural human trait to try and predict what's going to happen. And for a pessimist, looking at the world in a pessimistic way allows them to feel safer. It means that if good things happen, well, that's a bonus, isn't it? You can feel great and you don't have to be disappointed. And of course, if things turned out as badly as you thought they would, well, then you were right, weren't you? And we all like to be right. But of course, pessimism isn't really protective. What it does is it robs us of our happiness in our present moment because we don't know what's going to happen. But we're assuming that we do, and we're being miserable now rather than hopeful. And of course, we see this world through our filters. And so if we expect things to turn out in a certain way, we will look for evidence to support it. So if we are pessimistic about things, when a friend doesn't return our text, we will assume from our pessimistic standpoint that maybe we've offended them, or they simply haven't got time for us, rather than the real situation, which is probably that they were just a little bit busy and didn't notice that the text had come in, or maybe even that you had forgotten to press send. So just starting to notice how pessimism might appear to serve you, even though it doesn't, is a great foundation for allowing yourself to move on to the next step of adopting a more optimistic attitude in life for yourself, as well as being able to teach your children how to do the same. So do watch our videos and look out for our Facebook posts and our Instagram posts and all of those things and our newsletters over on our website, papalona.com, where we're just going to share so much information about how you can really help your children adopt a more optimistic attitude and have that rub off on yourself too. So until next time, as always, be safe, be well, and be kind.